Everybody here probably knows who Billy Corgan is, and 30 years almost since the passing of Kurt Cobain, he's still being super disrespectful to his #1 competitor, okay? So today, we're gonna get into all of that drama. Hey, how's it going? I'm your friendly neighborhood gatekeeper, Dan Frampton, and first I'm going to explain this a little bit. We got to go back to the early 90s, okay? Kurt Cobain, top of the top, writing the best songs, connecting with the most people, kind of creating a whole subculture onto himself, okay? He was the king of the grunge scene, king of MTV, and he was absolutely the #1 rock and roller in the world by a long shot, okay? Then there was this other band called the Smashing Pumpkins, and they were fronted by Billy Corgan. And this Billy Corgan guy, he had kind of like this really weaselly, nasally, ass voice that for some reason caught on with some people. And I think in Billy Corgan's mind alone, he considered himself to be the biggest rival of Kurt Cobain. But Kurt Cobain was leagues ahead of Billy Corgan in terms of songwriting, in terms of talent, in terms of overall cool factor. He was just a much better rock star than Billy Corgan all around, in every capacity. But for some reason, in Billy Corgan's twisted, egotistical mind, he's always gonna make it about himself. He's gonna see Kurt Cobain's success as a reflection of what he can do as the #1 competitor, okay? And we gotta go back all the way to where this history kind of started, and that's the early 90s, and of course, it involves Courtney Love. Now the story that Billy Corgan tells, now you gotta understand that this is through the lens of Billy Corgan. He says that Courtney Love came to visit him in New York City, but he had a girlfriend at the time, and she was looking as sexy as ever, okay? And those are Billy Corgan's words, okay? But since he was being a good upstanding citizen, a good boyfriend, he kicked Courtney Love out that night, and then she found herself in the arms of Kurt Cobain that very evening. And that's a very convenient story to be telling. He doesn't need to intermingle his timeline with Nirvana's. They're two completely different bands, they have two completely different camps, and the camps, the people that worked for them and the fans of those bands kinda did have the rivalry, but the rivalry wasn't really between those two front people. It may have been in Billy Corgan's mind, but you know Kurt Cobain couldn't have cared any less. But how could this drama have entered 2023? Because I'm not going back in the drama DeLorean for this one. This one is a current drama because Billy Corgan went on to like the Apple Music podcast and started spitting some mad, disrespectful stuff. Now it's a 46-minute long podcast interview episode, but I'm just interested in this one little bit. So we're just gonna hone in on this one clip and focus on the disrespect for a second. Because I'm sure I could watch the whole thing and make fun of him the whole way through, but that's not what we're here for today. Sounds like a good time for a stream though. And this seems like a good a time as ever to mention it. I do streams now on the channel, almost daily. So if you haven't known that and you wanna be here for the streams, you wanna get those notifications on, hit the bell. Okay. Look at this pompous little fool over here on the Apple Music podcast. Oh man. All right, Billy Corgan, let's see what you're all about.
So you know me well enough to know that when it's all said and done, I want the pumpkin standing on the top of the heap of our generation.
When it's all said and done, okay, every sentence is gonna make me want to stop and pause and make fun of this guy. When it's all said and done, he wants the pumpkins to be standing on the top of the heap of his generation. Well, I hate to break it to you, man. Your generation had its time in the sun, and you weren't the top of the heap, okay? And if you're gonna come out here and be like, you're gonna claim the top of the heap from a dead guy, from a legendary dead guy who's clearly gonna be the king of this thing, and is gonna be remembered as the king of this thing forever? Are you serious? You're putting on the boxing gloves right now to go after Kurt Cobain, the guy who wrote the most legendary songs, and you wanna be retroactively be remembered as the guy that led that generation? Is that what you wanna say? You wanna rewrite history? That's crazy talk.
And if that means I got to write 800 songs to do it, I'll do it.
It doesn't mean you gotta write 800 songs. That seems like an exercise in futility. 800 songs is not gonna be the deciding factor to who is the king of the grunge era in the early 90s, okay? Was it Kurt Cobain or was it Smashing Pumpkins? Well, it was always Kurt Cobain until 2023, where Billy Corgan just wrote 800 songs, and those 800 songs just erased, somehow completely eviscerated Kurt Cobain from the timeline. This 56-year-old man is trying to erase what this other 27-year-old had accomplished by the time he turned 27. That is insanity. What else do you got to say over here, Billy Corgan?
I ain't shy about that.
No, you're not shy about that. You're a very crazy individual. You're a lunatic, Billy Corgan. How does anybody ever take you seriously?
I will go down always as saying Kurt was the most talented guy of our generation. Kurt had so much talent, it's like frightening.
Yeah.
He's gotta put the caveat on it. Well, okay, I can't be saying that I want to be the top of the heap, 800 songs, blah, 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 blah. Kurt really was the most talented. People don't understand how talented that Kurt Cobain was. Yeah, buddy, yeah, we do. You don't need to tell us what we don't understand. People understand that Kurt Cobain wrote the best songs. People understand that Kurt Cobain connected with the most people. People understand that. They don't think that Kurt Cobain just like woke up full of heroin one day and was like, here's a brilliant album. It doesn't work like that. What world do you live in, Billy Corgan?
It was like a John Lennon level of talent where you're like, how can you have all this talent?
Yeah.
It was like a John Lennon level of talent. What a comparison, you know what I mean?
Or Prince, right?
Yeah.
Or Prince, right? Yeah, of course. Kurt Cobain and Prince, absolutely.
But Kurt's not here, you know?
Do you see that gesture, that bit of physicality? He goes, but, he's very talented, like Prince level talent, but, there's no but here, Billy Corgan.
Sadly. So,
Other than your fat butt sitting in this chair.
so I looked around and I was like, all right, well, I could beat the rest of them for sure.
So you looked around, I was like, I could beat the rest of them? Are you serious, really? Beat the rest of them. Now, a lot of these old grunge bands, that era, yeah, for sure. There were a bunch of like really super cringy bands. If you're looking at Eddie Vedder and being like, I could be better than Eddie Vedder, yeah, well, that's not really a high bar. Even though, like, I hate Billy Corgan so much, and I think that he is the most pretentious, like, windbag in the entire world, that I would take Eddie Vedder over him like 100 times out of 100. So that was the clip in question. What a delusional psychopath. He's got to write 800 songs to be the top of the heap of the grunge generation. It's done. It's over. The history books are on the shelves, my friend. It doesn't matter what you say now. It doesn't matter what you write now. It doesn't matter how you act and behave in the modern day. It will not change what happened from 1989 to 1994. Those years have already happened, sir. Now we're in the 2020s, which is 30 years since all then. Get it together, Billy Corgan. Get back with the National Wrestling Alliance. Put something out that makes sense there. Get back with the Pumpkins. Put something out that makes sense there. But I think that might be a tall order, because I don't know if you know what makes sense anymore. Maybe the only thing that makes sense for Billy Corgan right now is another interview and another appearance on the old Alex Jones show. Okay, that's it for me right now. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell if you're cool as hell. Leave a couple pancakes down there in the comment section. Until my next upload, you can watch another upload.